Welcome to Your Dialysis Nurse. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm your dialysis nurse, both online and in center. Now, I have received a lot of questions regarding the buttons on the front of the hemodialysis machine in center. So, I'm going to do my best to explain that to you throughout this presentation. And if you have any questions, please drop it in the comments below. Also, please make sure to check me out on TikTok and let's get started. Let's first start with arterial pressure at the top left corner of the home page. This number represents the pressure of the arterial needle, which is normally inserted into the bottom portion of the access and has a red clamp at the bottom of the needle. You usually want to see this number less than negative 260. This needle pulls the dirty blood from the body into the bloodline to filter through the dialyzer. If this number creeps up to negative 300, the machine will stop and alarm, and it's usually an indication that the needle may be against the wall in the vessel, or a blood clot may be on the tip of the needle, or the nurse or technician forgot to unclamp the clamps on our arterial needle before initiating treatment. Next, we have the venous pressure. This is the pressure that is in the venous needle, which puts the clean dialyzed blood back into the patient body. It will normally have a blue clamp located at the bottom. Similar to the red needle, you don't want this number to go past 300. If the venous needle creeps up towards 300, you want to stop it immediately. If the patient is experiencing pain in that area, the site may be infiltrated or against the wall. If it's against the wall, you may be able to readjust it and continue with dialysis, but if it's visibly swollen and the patient is in pain, you may want to discontinue dialysis for the day and reschedule the patient the next day so the area can rest. A rule of thumb for me is to always check needle placement with a 10 cc syringe. If it doesn't work with the syringe, then it won't work with the machine, and you have a lower chance of severely infiltrating the patient to the point that they now have to go to the dialysis center 3 days in a row instead of 3 days a week. Next, we have the TMP, which stands for transmembrane pressure. TMP is basically the pressure within the dialyzer. It reflects the pressure difference between the blood and fluid compartment. If the TMP keeps alarming or you notice the numbers are increasing, it can be a sign of clotting in the dialyzer. Next, we move on to the blood flow rate, also known as the BFR. The doctor usually sets the speed of the pump in the prescription, and the nurses and the CCHTs follow that prescription. If the venous pressure or arterial pressure or TMP constantly alarm, the pump speed can be usually decreased per MD orders. The UF goal is set to the amount of fluid that is needed to take off in efforts to reach your end dry weight or target weight. The goal has a default of 3,000, so if it's not set, the patient will automatically be set to remove 3,000 mLs, which equates to 3 liters of fluid. If a patient walking in weighs 100 kilograms and their target weight is 99 kilograms, they are over by 1 kilogram. The goal is to set for 1 kilogram plus the rinse back. If the rinse back is 250 mLs before treatment and 250 mLs after treatment, the goal is set for a total of 1,500. Next is the UF time, which is the total amount of time the machine will be set to remove the UF goal. If the patient begins to cramp, the UF goal could be turned off, which will also pause the UF time. This clock only counts down as it pulls off fluid. If it's not counting down, it's not removing fluid. Next, we have the UF rate, which is the ultrafiltration rate and refers to the speed in which fluid is removed. Often patients get mad when they are in fluid overload if staff does not remove all the fluid that they put on. Studies have shown that a fast UFR rate has been associated with high mortality rate. They're really putting the patient's health first and following CMS guidelines. Next on the screen is the UF removed. This will tell us how much fluid has been removed so far. It should match the UF goal at the very end of treatment. If this number does not match the UF goal at the end of treatment, that means your UF has been paused at some time during the treatment for a number of reasons. One most common reason is low blood pressure, high or low heart rate, or the patient complaining of cramping. The DFR is the dialysis flow rate, and it correlates with how fast the dialysate is moving through the dialyzer. If a patient needs more cleaning and does not want to increase their treatment time, this rate can usually be increased to help with clearance. Next, we have the temperature, which is usually around 37 degrees. Sometimes it will be dropped by the MD if the patient runs a low blood pressure, which will help to increase the patient blood pressure during their treatment. Conductivity is basically a parameter for the total measurement of salt in a dialysate. This number is usually anywhere between 13 and 15.5. The RTD is the remaining treatment duration. This should match the UF time, but may not if the UF was paused due to the patient not feeling well. No matter what, this time should continue. As long as this clock is running, the patient blood is getting cleaned. Next, we have the UF profile, which is used to vary the UF during treatment. Let's say you have a patient who tends to cramp at the end of treatment or their blood pressure drops towards the end of treatment. They may benefit from a profile where more fluid is removed in the beginning of treatment and less is removed towards the end to minimize the side effects of dialysis. Last but not least, we have the SVS profile. This is used when a doctor prescribes additional sodium in the dialysate to help with the side effects of dialysis, like hypotension or cramping. Thanks for stopping by Your Dialysis Nurse. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Your Dialysis Nurse, and check out yourdialysisnurse.com. Thank you.